Right, so we've got two consecutive unit fractions, got some greater than eighth. So what we mean by consecutive unit fractions would be, for example, a third and a quarter, or I don't know, 1 over 16, 1 over 17, something like that. So we've got those, and we've got to figure out what's the largest possible sum of their denominators. So let's start off by saying, well, we know our first fraction. Let's make our first fraction, call it 1 over n, and our second one bigger than that, so it's going to be 1 over n plus 1. And we know we've got to have the sum when we add those two together, that's got to be greater than 1/8. So what we've done there is formed our inequality. What we're going to do now is do some adding of fractions. So what we're going to do is get the denominator the same. So this fraction here, the 1 over n, I need a common denominator, which I'm going to get from the product of my two fractions. So my common denominator is going to be that. So I need to do that for my first fraction, and then my second fraction, the 1 over n plus 1, what I'm going to do is times that by n on the top and times that by n on the bottom, greater than 8. So what we've got now is n plus 1 plus n all over n bracket n plus 1 is greater than 1/8. And so we're going to multiply out. So let's go for, well, let's do a bit of tidying up on the top as well. So we've got 2n plus 1 there. Let's take this bit on the bottom here. Let's take that and take that over to the side. That's going to be, so going to make that as n plus 1. And the 8, let's take that over as well. So we've got that. So just take a moment to have a look and make sure you're happy with everything that's gone on there. And so now we've got, what's that, 16n plus 8 is greater than n squared plus n. So now this is starting to look like a quadratic inequality. I want to keep my n squared as positive and have everything to 0 on the left hand side. So let's just move everything from this side. Let's move it over there. So we've got n squared, move the 16n over, it becomes negative, so that's minus 15n minus 8 greater than 0. So now we're looking at a quadratic inequality, something I'm going to have to solve it and come up with my critical values, but I'm thinking that's not going to factorise because I've got 4 and 2 and 8 and 1 is the only things against brackets, that's not going to work. So let's go for quadratic formula. N equals minus b, so that's minus 15 plus or minus square root of b squared. Minus 15 squared, 225 minus 4 times by a times by c all over 2a, and that gives us n is minus 0.51 or 15.5. Now, I've just done that using quadratic formula, but like in the exam, because you've now got calculators that will solve quadratic equations for you, you could just bang that one into your calculator and get it to spit out the answers. These things are my critical values. So let's just have a little look at what's happening. So I've got, if I was plotting it as a curve, I'd have something like that going on. That's my minus 0.5, and that's my 15.5. And we know that 0 is greater than that, alternatively, n squared minus 15n minus 8 is less than 0. So I know I need to be in that section of my inequality. So my solution to my inequality is n has got to be between 15.5 or greater than minus 0.51. Right, all good so far. If we just go back up and have a quick look at the question, it says we want the largest possible sum of the denominators. The largest possible sum, we want the denominators as big as possible. So I want the biggest integer value that's allowable within my inequality. So if we take, okay, let's have n equals 15. So my first fraction would be 1 over 15, and then n plus 1, that would be 16. And we've got that. Right, so let's just double check that is actually greater than, we want it to be greater than 1/8. And is it or not? Well, if we add those two things together, 1 over 15 plus 1 over 16 comes out to be 31 over 240. Now, what's the equivalent in terms of eighths? Well, if we had 1/8 would be the same as what over 240? Well, that would be the same as 30 over 240. So yes, that thing is bigger. So there we go. we've got what we wanted. So there's our answer, our two fractions are 1/15 and 1/16.